Jack Harmon pulled his horse to a stop outside Willow Creek's general store. Dust from the long ride coated his worn boots and faded jeans. He needed grain for his family's farm, nothing more. The harsh winter had been hard on their small ranch, leaving their supplies low and their hopes even lower. Just get the grain and head back, he reminded himself, tying his horse to the post. Inside the store, the smell of coffee and leather filled the air. Jack nodded politely to the shopkeeper and headed toward the feed section. As he reached for a sack of grain, his hand collided with someone else's. "Sorry about that," said a woman's voice. Jack looked up to see bright blue eyes studying him. The woman wore practical riding clothes, her brown hair tied back in a simple braid. Something about her direct gaze made him stand straighter. "No harm done," Jack replied. "You can take that one. You're not from around here," she said. It wasn't a question. "I'm Abby Mason. Jack Harmon, from Pine Ridge County." "That's quite a ride for grain," Abby remarked, lifting the heavy sack with practiced ease. "Our usual supplier closed down," Jack explained, surprised at himself for sharing even that much. He wasn't one for conversation with strangers. As they paid for their purchases, dark clouds gathered outside. The shopkeeper frowned at the window. "Storm's coming in fast. Might want to wait it out, folks." Jack stepped onto the porch just as the first heavy raindrops fell. Within minutes, the dirt road turned to mud. His horse whinnied nervously as thunder cracked overhead. "Your timing is terrible," Abby said, appearing beside him. "That road to Pine Ridge will be washed out by now." Jack frowned. He couldn't afford to stay in town. "My family's ranch is just outside town," Abby continued. "You can wait out the storm there. We have plenty of room." Jack hesitated. He didn't take charity, and he didn't trust easily. But something in Abby's straightforward offer held no pity, just practical sense. "I appreciate that," he finally said. They rode side by side through the downpour, Abby leading the way with confidence. As they approached a large ranch house, Jack noticed the well-maintained fences and healthy livestock. The Mason place was clearly prosperous, unlike his struggling family farm. "Welcome to Willow Creek Ranch," Abby said as they dismounted under the shelter of the barn. "Seems like your quick trip for grain just got complicated." Jack had no idea how complicated it would become. The storm raged through the night. Jack sat at the Mason family table, feeling out of place among their warm chatter. Abby's father, Frank Mason, watched him with careful eyes while her younger brother, Pete, asked endless questions about Pine Ridge. "So your family runs that old Harmon place?" Frank asked. "Heard you folks have been having a rough go of it." Jack nodded stiffly. "Dad," Abby warned, setting down a plate of hot biscuits. Morning brought clear skies and a chance for Jack to see the Mason ranch in daylight. It was even more impressive than he had first thought. Their grain storage was full, their cattle fat, and their horses some of the finest he had seen. "Want to see something special?" Abby asked, finding him by the corral. She led him to a separate paddock, where a wild Mustang paced nervously. Jack watched in amazement as Abby entered the enclosure. The horse snorted and backed away, but Abby moved slowly, speaking in a low, steady voice. Within minutes, the Mustang allowed her to touch its neck. "How did you do that?" Jack asked when she returned. "Patience. Trust. Knowing when to push and when to wait," she said. "Same things that make a ranch work." Jack looked away. "My ranch isn't working too well then, what's the trouble?" Abby asked. Before he knew it, Jack was telling her about the failing crops, the sick cattle, and the bank loans coming due. He had never shared these worries with anyone outside his family. "You're using old methods?" Abby said bluntly. "There are better ways now. I could show you." "We don't need charity," Jack said quickly. "It's not charity to learn something new," Abby replied. "Besides, I've been wanting to try some ideas my grandfather taught me. Your land would be perfect." That evening, Frank found them, still talking by the corral. "Getting mighty friendly with our guest, Abby," he said after Jack went inside. "He's a good man with bad luck," Abby replied. "His family's ranch could be saved with the right help, and you think you're the one to save it?" Frank shook his head. The boy has pride written all over him, and his land is nearly worthless now. "Land is never worthless," Abby argued, "and neither is he." The next morning, Jack prepared to leave with his grain. Abby walked him to his horse. "Think about my offer," she said. "I'll ride out to your place next week." Jack hesitated, then nodded. "I'll be there." As he rode away, Jack realized he was leaving with much more than the grain he came for. He was leaving with hope. True to her word, Abby arrived at the Harmon Ranch the following week. "The soil here is good," Abby said, crumbling dirt between her fingers. "You just need to rotate your crops differently. And this pasture could support twice the cattle with proper management." Jack's father shook his head. "We've always done things our way. Maybe that's the problem," Jack said quietly. His father looked at him with surprise. Over the next few weeks, Abby rode to the Harmon Ranch regularly. She brought seeds for new crops and ideas that seemed strange but made sense when she explained them. Jack found himself looking forward to her visits, not just for her farming knowledge. One afternoon, they were repairing a fence when a fancy car pulled up. George Winters, the richest rancher in the county, stepped out with a smug smile. "Thought I'd check on this place," he said. "Bank tells me you missed another payment, Harmon. Be making an offer on this land next month when they foreclose." Jack felt his face burn with shame. Abby stepped forward. "That won't be happening," she said firmly. "The Harmons have new backing now." "From who?" "You," Winters laughed. "The Mason girl playing farmer with her daddy's money." "From the Cattlemen's Association," Abby replied calmly. "My uncle is the president. He's very interested in the new methods we're testing here." Winters frowned and left without another word. "Is that true?" Jack asked when the car disappeared. Abby smiled. By tomorrow afternoon, spring brought new life to the Harmon Ranch. The fields grew green with crops planted according to Abby's advice. The cattle gained weight on the improved pastures. When it came time for the spring cattle drive, Jack invited Abby to join them. They needed to move the herd across the river to summer pastures. The river ran high with melted snow. As they guided the cattle across, Abby's horse slipped on a wet rock. The current swept her downstream toward dangerous rapids. Without thinking, Jack spurred his horse along the bank, racing ahead of the current. He spotted a low-hanging branch and positioned himself beneath it. As Abby was swept past, he reached down and grabbed her arm, pulling her from the rushing water. That night, as they sat by the campfire drying out, Jack found the courage to speak. "You saved my family's ranch," he said. "Today I almost lost you." "You didn't," Abby replied, her eyes reflecting the firelight. "I'm right here." Under the vast sky filled with stars, Jack took her hand. For the first time in years, his future looked as bright as the night sky above them. Summer brought scorching heat and clear skies. To clear. Day after day passed without rain, and the promising green fields began to turn brown. Jack stood at the edge of his property, watching dust devils dance across the parched earth. "It hasn't been this dry in 20 years, his father said, joining him. "The creek's almost gone." The improvements they had made with Abby's help had been working. The bank had given them more time after seeing their progress. But now the drought threatened everything. Abby rode over that afternoon, her face serious. "My father says this could last months. We need to make hard choices." "Like what?" Jack asked. "Which fields to save and which to let go? Which cattle to keep and which to sell early?" That night, they argued for the first time. Jack wanted to try to save everything they had worked for. Abby insisted they needed to cut their losses. "We can't just give up," Jack said. "It's not giving up. It's being smart," Abby countered. "My family has survived 3 major droughts by making tough decisions early. Your family has money to fall back on," Jack snapped. "We don't." Abby's face hardened. "I'm trying to help you." "I never asked for your help," Jack said, the words coming out harsher than he intended.
"Abby!"
Rode away without looking back. Jack was too proud to stop her.
"Abamot!"
A week passed with no word from Abby. The drought worsened. Jack had to sell half their cattle at low prices just to afford feed for the rest. The situation seemed hopeless. Then Jack heard news that shocked him. Abby was selling her prized horses, including the champion mare she had raised from a foal. The whole county was talking about it. Jack rode to town and found Pete Mason at the general store. "Why is Abby selling her horses?" Jack demanded. Pete looked uncomfortable. "She needed money fast. She's been buying water rights on the North Creek. Said something about diverting water to save some stubborn man's farm." Jack felt like he'd been kicked in the chest. Abby was sacrificing her beloved horses to help his family, even after he had pushed her away. He rode to the Mason ranch immediately. Frank Mason met him at the gate. "She's not here," Frank said coldly. "She's at the auction house, watching strangers ride away with her life's work." "I never asked her to do this," Jack said. "That's the thing about Abby," Frank replied. "She doesn't do what people ask. She does what's right." Jack turned his horse toward town, his heart pounding. He had been so focused on not appearing weak that he had missed what true strength looked like. He hoped it wasn't too late to make things right. Jack found Abby at the county rodeo grounds, not at the auction house. She sat alone on the fence, watching her favorite mare being exercised by its new owner. Her face showed no emotion, but Jack could see the tension in her shoulders. "Abby," he called softly. She turned surprised to see him. "Pete told me what you did," he said, climbing up to sit beside her. "You sold your horses for water rights." "Not all of them," she replied. "It's just the ones worth enough to matter. Why would you do that for me, after what I said?" Abby looked at him directly. "Because I believe in your land. And in you." Jack took a deep breath. "I was wrong. I was too proud to accept help, too scared to admit I needed it. And now I'm asking for your help. Not as charity, but as a partner." Abby's eyes widened. "A partner?" "I've been thinking about something," Jack said. "The creek that runs through your north pasture continues through my western field. If we combine our water rights and build a proper irrigation system, we could save both our ranches." For the first time in weeks, Abby smiled. That might work. They spent the next days working side by side, digging trenches and laying pipes. Other ranchers, seeing their determination, came to help. Even Frank Mason brought his workers to assist. "Never seen two more stubborn people?" Frank commented to Jack's father as they watched the young couple direct the work. Might make a good match after all. The irrigation system was nearly complete. When dark clouds finally gathered on the horizon, everyone paused, looking up with hope. "Rain's coming," Jack said, standing next to Abby at the boundary between their properties. "Just in time," she replied. As the first drops fell, Jack took her hand. "I rode into Willow Creek for grain that day. Just grain. I never expected to find you, and I never expected a stranger passing through to change everything," Abby said. The rain fell harder now, soaking them both. Neither moved to seek shelter. "I don't want to be just neighbors," Jack said. "Or just partners." "What do you want?" Abby asked. "A future. Together. Your ideas and my hard work. Your spirit and my determination." Abby smiled through the rain.
Ow.
"Are you asking me to marry you, Jack Harmon?" "Yes," he said simply.
Ow, right here on the line between your land and mine, where everything changed.
Abby's answer was to pull him close and kiss him as the life-giving rain fell around them. In the years that followed, people would often tell the story of Jack Harmon, who rode into town for grain, but left with the woman who changed his life forever. Their combined ranch became the most successful in the county, a testament to what could happen when pride gave way to partnership and love.